I am your river. From Caney Bridge to Sowell's Bluff, it must be enough. Rivers are roads which move. And I know not, when bound for the land of my quest, if my portion shall be the good which I hope for and seek, or the evil that seeketh for me. Mulberry's story begins when Nathaniel T. Journey settled on Red River at the mouth of Caney Creek. A large part of what will become Mulberry, also Lightfoot Bend, would pass to him, quote, from sovereignty, the Republic of Texas, for Journey's certificate of headright, the 9th, gave him priority of location, but Journey died first. When we are frightened by the greatness of the universe, we are almost literally frightened by our own shadows. For these light years and billions of centuries are mere arithmetic until the shadow of man, the poet, the maker of myth, falls upon them. It is easy to praise or blame the river, unlike when responsibility is our own. The land. Let it go, Lawyer Laddie said to Forshee. The Red's overflow is still the cause of our abundance. To north and west it is near, and Mulberry's roads lead in or out, not through to other places. Yet the river did not always set a boundary for this world. If one crossed its waters in 1838 and rode west, Warren, the first county seat of Fannin County, Texas, not counting Jacob Black's cabin, was but 5 miles away. And Kemp's Ferry referred both to the family of Mother Kemp and the place where she lived in Indian Territory. The Kemp family cemetery is on the opposite bank from Mulberry. Ida Hare, born Davidson.
She was a white girl. And one of them said, well, I hear something dropping down on the floor. Well, they got looking around, and they went upstairs, and they had killed her.
Mulberry only is home. Yet the place exists in but a few traces, located in a bend of Red River on the north edge of Texas. This gathering of words, like leaves spread again at the base of an oak relic, is to bring back a place where we still live. When I first looked, even old-timers at the cemetery dinner under the pavilion didn't know when Hunter and Green came. But discovery of a newspaper clipping in the Davidson Family Bible told an approximate date of the shootout, and mistaken identity led on to a description of Hunter. Margaret Kane mentioned a girl with long black hair, and Ida Hare spoke fragments of her story. That was all, until one day on a microfilm reader in the library came up. Murder most foul. In the Bonham News, March 20, 1903, a story about Lena Pendergrass. The romances and tragedies of life are not all recorded in the books we read, but they are being enacted around us every day. Sometimes the curtain is lifted and we see them, but hundreds of them on every side remain hidden from our eyes. Language is a cracked kettle on which we beat out tunes for bears to dance to. Old Roustabout, writing for the Bonham News on November the 17th, 1908, wrote, "Long before 1920 comes, it is believed that the beautiful, rich, and fructifying banks and bottoms along Red River will have blossomed like the rose. When navigation comes, these bounties will follow. Many farmers along Old Red will own gasoline boats and steam launches to transport their many products to the shipping points of Denison and Arthur City." Clayton Hall, my father, remembered a winter morning when a man walked across the frozen river and, quote, rolled a barrel back, unquote. But that was only to say so cold it was. To the north and west, we never crossed the river, and to this day, I have not stood beside Mother Kemp's grave. The Bonham News, June the 2nd, 1908. At Mulberry, the river was reported to be 5 or 6 miles wide at one time yesterday morning. The damage to the crops along the river country in this county will be something enormous. Around 1915, Odie's stepfather, Oscar Blankenship, was operating a ferry on Red River. He had moved the family to a house on the bank opposite Mulberry, just as it starts to rise. One day, a man came and asked to be taken across, but he didn't have the 10-cent toll. He said he was hungry. My daddy, Odie always said my daddy, took him across and told him Mama would give him something to eat. Mama had just mopped the kitchen. She put down newspaper and walked over the wet floor. After he ate, the man told her it'd be a long time before he had as good a meal again, and left. Then a sheriff's deputy came up and asked my daddy if he had taken a man across. He questioned Mama. When the deputy and the man came back, they stopped, and the man told the deputy about the meal Mama gave him. We never did know what he was wanted for. What I remember. Wishing to locate Journey's campsite at the mouth of Caney Creek, a young history teacher from Plano High School came to my kitchen door. Did I know where? He might come back and dig, looking for buttons. I knew only the log houses that had stood along the road to the river, and believed that around the barn an aura of the past remains. Also, the gate posts where an abandoned road once entered. We called it the messenger's place. I didn't know yet about the saloon house or Alonzo Larkin's gold watch. Come back before you start to dig, I said, but he never did. September the 21st, 1902. Tom Spees was born in Mulberry. He dated Juby Bramlett as a youth and gave her a gold bracelet. When they broke up, Juby buried it in the cemetery. It won't be found, she said, because our love died. Tom Spees died in a New York City hospital on February the 28th, 1960. Quote, Dr. Spees leaves gift to mankind. Among the men who have achieved medical greatness will go down in history. Dr. Tom was a product of Fannin County, born on a plantation in the Red River Valley.
I was going down the river to my little cottage home. The revenue men was waiting there for me. I was coming up the hill when they caught me with a still. I'll be with you when the roses bloom again.